What's going on? It's Josh DeMoss, author of The Choice Maker. Today I want to talk to you about the subject, is relapse a part of recovery? Super hard subject to talk about. I know a lot of people who've been in recovery for a long time. Some have relapsed, some have not. Me, I've been in recovery for 6 years now. I have relapsed a few times in the process of my recovery, and I continue to learn and grow. The catch with me is I was on the streets for 20 years as an addict and alcoholic, and completely radically different person than I am today. So for me, if you ask me, is recovery or is relapsing a part of recovery? Unfortunately, it's been a part of mine. I don't think it has to be a part of everybody's, but I do not like the way at a lot of meetings people will say, hey, look, if you got 2 or 3 years clean and sober, or if you got 3 months of clean and sober and you relapse, all of a sudden you're back at day one. There's no way, if I was 3 years clean and sober and I work really hard to fight for my life, that if I relapse, I was back at day one again. There's no way. My attitudes changed, my character's changed, my bank accounts changed, my relationships have changed. And on top of that, how hard I've worked in my life, that's changed. So I'm never going to start back at day one. I hope relapsing is not part of your recovery, and I hope it's never part of my recovery again, but I know that today I work really hard on my recovery, and I wake up every day and I'm happy that I'm clean and sober. My life's good. There are seasons where I go through hard times and I have to work harder at it. I have to get more accountable. I've got to either talk to my sponsor or talk to my accountability partners. But I'm never back at day one again. My life today is super, super good. It's awesome. But there are times where I still desire drugs and alcohol, and that's when I have to work harder at it. But I'm never back at day one. I know people who've been sober for 10 years and never had a relapse. I know people who, the day they quit drinking and drugging, they said that they just were absolutely free from it. Me personally, my recovery, it's been kind of, I've had to fight for it. That's what I'm saying. It's mostly been good, but I've had to fight a lot harder for my recovery than other people. Maybe not because I'm rebellious. I don't know why it didn't just get taken from me. Some people it does, some people it doesn't. So I can't really speak for you in your life. I do know that the best thing you can do is take it one day at a time. Get accountable, get connected, make things happen for your life. Set goals for yourself. Go after dreams. Don't just live to be average. Go to live a successful, fun life. And, get connected and do the right things, do the right steps, and don't really worry about if you're going to relapse. If it happens, the worst thing you can do, what are you going to do? Let's say you get 90 days clean and sober, or you get a year clean and sober, or even 5 years. So let's just say you do relapse. What's your options? You only have 2 options, right? You either go back to the street, or you go back to drinking and drugging, or you pick yourself up, you brush yourself off, and you move forward. That's the only 2 options you have. And for me personally, I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to give in to that lifestyle again. I'm going to continue doing better. And the other thing I see is if people do relapse, after a period of time, they think that they have to beat themselves up for a period of time. Maybe I've got to diss myself or be mean to myself for a month, or say, man, you're so stupid, Josh, you're so this or you're so that. And then once I am mean to myself long enough, then I'm justified. I justify it that, hey, then I can go ahead and then I'm forgiven and I can move on. But that's not really how it works with God. If I make a mistake in my life, I go to God or I go to my accountability partner, I ask for forgiveness and I start working at it again that day. I'm not going to beat myself up over it so I can maybe go in a deeper depression or darker place in my life, or I have to start over again supposedly at day one, which is ridiculous. No, I'm going to pick myself up. I'm honest to God. I'm going to pick myself up and say, look, Josh, you made a mistake. And you're going to continue, doing great. And if you made a mistake to somebody, maybe you're married or you got a friend or something, and you maybe go out, ask for forgiveness to somebody. You do the steps you need to be healthy, but you definitely don't diss yourself or criticize yourself for days and days, because it doesn't really justify it to go beat yourself up. I know as human beings, sometimes we feel like, okay, hey, I'm only really sorry if I pay the consequences, but life doesn't really work like that for successful people. So if you do stumble and you do fall in your recovery, just pick yourself back up and don't allow your mind to lead your body and tell yourself where it's going to go. Look, sometimes I have to fight against myself. Yeah, our flesh and our emotions are real, but I don't always listen to them. There's days I wake up that it's like, man, my mind just wants to beat me up. I'm just not falling for that anymore. Been there, done it. I'm 6 years into my recovery. Life's good. I'm going to continue fighting to get healthier. I'm going to continue telling people how to get healthier in their own recovery. And one of the best ways you can get healthy is by not allowing your mind in every single thought process you have to control who you are and where you're going in your life. So is relapsing part of recovery? Man, it really depends. It depends. Some people it is, some people it isn't. But either way, you got to just keep fighting for your recovery and keep going. So that's my encouragement to you. If you do have a fall in your recovery, and just pick yourself back up and keep going. I mean, what are you going to do? Go back to the street? Come on, for real? You're just going to give up and just quit? I mean, that's not how real life works. People stumble all the time in their life. You pick yourself back up and you just get to ripping and running, and you look yourself in the mirror and say, look, man, I forgive you. You're a great person. You made a mistake. So what? So what if you relapse 20 or 30 times? Before I got clean and sober, I probably relapsed like 40 or 50 times. There were so many, and it was ridiculous. And you know what? If I would have quit on time on the 32nd time or the 45th time, I'd never be 6 years today clean, sober, and happy in my life. So don't give up. Just keep fighting the fight, and pick yourself back up. And if you've got a long time clean and sober, don't quit doing the steps that got you there. If you've never had a relapse, then don't get all nervous about it. Just keep rolling and living a good life and making the right steps, to where you need to go. So anyways, if you haven't checked out the book I wrote, it's called The Choice Maker, and you can check it out on the website, www.joshuademoss.com. And man, I hope it's encouragement to your life. It's a book on how to overcome drugs and alcohol, and man, just keep fighting for it.